talent on loan from God. Happy to have you here. Telephone number 800-282-2882. You know, Obama, Carney, all of these clowns, they run around, they talk about every legal expert agrees, all economists from the entire spectrum, all agree. Let me tell you what everybody agrees with. Every legal scholar agrees that you cannot invoke executive privilege to hide illegal activity. Now, let me ask you, what would be more illegal than giving weapons to murderous drug cartels in order to be able to curtail the Second Amendment rights guaranteed Americans by the Constitution? What in the name of Sam Hill is legal about seeing to it that you create crimes? That's what this administration did. They created crimes. They enabled crimes. They gave weapons, popularly called assault weapons, which they wanted banned. And the American people did not want them banned. And the elected representatives of the people did not ban them. And that wasn't good enough for Obama, and that wasn't good enough for Holder. To hell with the American people and to hell with the Congress. We'll figure out a way to get rid of these guns. And they came up with Fast and Furious, which basically allowed the guns to walk across the border into the hands of drug cartels who used them. 200, 300 people dead, wounded, probably more than that. Mexicans to boot. Latinos. Every Latino in this country thinks Obama loves them, cares for them, wants them to have the best, all this kind of stuff. Who do you think got killed with these guns? Martians? Mexicans got killed with these guns. Plus one of our border agents got killed with these guns at the hands of drug cartels. Now, you don't get to assert executive privilege to hide that. After all, it's far more this White House trying to hide illegal activity than they're trying to protect national security. Give me a break. National security, my rear end. Ask yourself this. Would they be asserting executive privilege if they thought that these documents would help Obama get reelected? If they thought that these documents would dump the blame for this on Bush, would they be exerting EP? No way. Even if there was national security involved, do you think? There's nothing. If these documents helped Obama's reelection effort, it didn't matter what kind of national security was compromised. They would release them. So, I have a question. I'm just a citizen. I sit here, I watch this stuff. I want to know, was Eric Holder lying when he said the day before yesterday he was going to give these Fast and Furious documents to ISA? He said he was going to turn them over. Or is he lying now when he says that they're so secret that he had to ask Obama to assert executive privilege? He was going to produce them. Well, we don't know which ones, but he was going to turn over some documents. Now we get executive privilege. Now I need to print this out, folks. There's a story out here from Terry Jeffrey at Cybercast News Service. And pardon me, I have to turn away from the microphone to get to my keyboard to print. And here in about 25 minutes, when the printer prints out what I'm printing, I'll be able to get it to you and tell you what it is that I'm talking about. Until the printer prints, I'll have to vamp like only the highly trained broadcast specialist I am can vamp while I wait for the high-tech equipment to spit out what it is I need. And here it is. And it is simply this. Terry Jeffrey, this story is from yesterday. Headline is this: Obama made pre-inaugural pledge on stopping guns to Mexico. Holder, Napolitano worked issue from first month. 3.5 years before he invoked executive privilege in refusing to hand over to Congress internal Justice Department documents about Operation Fast and Furious. And just 8 days before his immaculation, President-elect Kardashian met with Mexican President Felipe Calderón over lunch at the Mexican Cultural Institute in Washington. He promised that he would take action aimed at stopping the flow of guns into that country from the United States. Public statements from both Attorney General Eric Holder and Homeland Security Secretary Big Sis Janet Napolitano demonstrate that they were both personally working on this issue from their first month in office, explaining the pledge that Obama made to Calderon at their January 12, 2009 lunch. I was having lunch with W that day because that was my birthday. I was having lunch in the Oval Office dining room that day while Obama's meeting with Calderon across town at the Mexican Cultural Institute. Anyway, Obama and Calderon having lunch January 12th. Robert Gibbs released a statement that day indicating Obama would ask Janet Napolitano to lead part of the administration's effort in stopping the movement of guns to Mexico. In particular, Napolitano was supposed to increase information sharing. President-elect Obama expressed support for efforts in the border states, both the U.S. and Mexico, to eradicate drug-related violence and stop the flow of guns and cash. He did just the opposite. They came up with this program, Fast and Furious, which added to the flow of guns. Now, Obama and Holder would not have had to make these pledges to Calderon if Bush was already doing this. If there was already an effort to stop this, they wouldn't have had to promise it. Yet they went around saying Bush was doing all of this. Well, if Bush was doing all this, what's Obama promising Calderon that he's going to do it? Obama told Sarah Brady he was working for gun control under the radar. That's in the story. Obama told Sarah Brady, she's the wife of James Brady, who was tragically wounded in the assassination attempt of President Reagan. And everybody loved him, James Brady. He was the press secretary. And he was funny. Everybody universally loved press secretary. And he was shot in the head, was never the same. It was very, very tragic. Obama told Sarah Brady he was working for gun control under the radar. Well, that's what Fast and Furious is. Under the radar. Gun control under the radar. You see, the Congress had failed to ban assault weapons. Obama wanted them banned. The Democrats wanted them banned. The Democrats want guns out of your hands no matter what, even if you do hunt and fish. I don't care what they say. They want the gun out of your, but there's no sediment for it. I'll never forget. I'm watching the Bush-Gore debate in 2000, 12 years ago, and I was shocked because Al Gore was going on and on and on in support of gun ownership. And I said, what have I missed here? Well, it turns out there was polling data all over the place that it was a losing issue for the Democrats to start advancing gun control laws. So ever since then, it's been a losing issue for that's why John Kerry in the 2004 campaign went to Ohio. Is this where I get me a hunting license? Want to make him sound like some big gun advocate. But that doesn't, they want these guns out of people's hands. And so Fast and Furious, he tells Sarah Brady, it's not in the story, it's just, I just remember it. He told Sarah Brady he was working under the radar to get rid of guns. Now, how is Fast and Furious any different from what Obama did with the DREAM Act? Obama went around Congress to get the DREAM Act. After they rejected it, they reject the ban on assault weapons, and here Obama comes up with Fast and Furious. Now, the importance of this story from Terry Jeffrey at the Cybercast News Service is that Obama made a pledge to the president of Mexico before he was immaculated to stop the flow of weapons. And they ended up with a program to start it, and Holder and the boys are out there saying they didn't know anything about the program for months after they were inaugurated, when in fact they knew about it and made promises about it the week prior to being inaugurated. Now, Jay Carney, you have backed yourself into a corner, and everybody in the regime and the media backing themselves into a corner by trying to defend Obama on this, because the record is clear. And we had a story yesterday of another meeting between Calderon and Obama later, after he had been immaculated. April 16th of 2009, to move further on this. The Sarah Brady business with Obama and Obama saying he's working under the radar, that's a Washington Post style section, April 11th, 2011. Sarah Brady told the Post, the Washington Post, Obama told her, quote, "I just want you to know that we're working on it. We have to go through a few processes, but under the radar." So that was April 11th, 2011, a Washington Post style section. Sarah Brady, who became a big gun control advocate after her husband was shot, was working to get guns out of people's hands, and Obama's, I'm working on it, I'm working under the radar. And Fast and Furious was what was under the radar. All righty, folks.